Hey, everybody. Thanks for joining us. We're on communication. So, in your booklet, if you're following along, we're on page, I think, 14. If not, we're going to post it all for you, so no worries. But the blend is communication support. And, on one level, you could say this is all about expression and reception. Your ability to communicate is not always verbal. It can be body language, it could be the things you say, could be the things you don't say, you know. Um, so you know how sometimes when you're talking, it's not like you're really like thinking out your words and following an outline or a thing that you've memorized. There's just this kind of flow that's coming through you that is being expressed almost instantaneously. And so this is tied to that. And this idea of communication is even associated with the intuitive part of the mind. And even doing this kind of work would also increase or enhance your ability to like process imagery. Because even images are a type of communication, signs and symbols, metaphors, dreams, all of these things are kinds of communication. It's not just the written word or the things that come out of our mouths or the things that other people are saying to us. Communication um, has a lot of faces, has a lot of faces. So I would say this even deepens like prayer work, meditation work, even communication between the mind or the body and the soul. And so this is a much deeper subject than you'd give it credit to. For treating physical conditions, I think we have two things like forms of depression and stuttering. Um, a lot of times with depression, there's physical depression, there's psychological depression, but a lot of times it's about something that's unexpressed, be it that it's upset feelings, hurt feelings, feelings of hopelessness. It's we tend to, when we have those depressive moments, we turn very inward and go inside and we don't express outwardly. And so you could almost say sometimes depression is just um, too much time being introverted, not enough expression outward. And so, this hits all these different things. And the things that I think really stand out to me here is as we go through and we do week after week after week, there's things that we're doing, you know, that we're doing with you guys that, you know, under other circumstances, you might not have done them. You look at, whenever we do something, you're like, okay, what's going on in my life? How do I clean that up? Or how do I improve that? Or, how do I make this condition or this symptom go away? But here you're exploring yourself. You're exploring your energy body, the emotions, the mind, and not just those things, but potentials. And it's nice to kind of set aside that point of view of like I need to address this, I need to release this, and I need to make it better and get back to what I was doing. It's nice to spend time where you step away and go, I'm just going to play with this for a little bit. You know, I'm going to play with this. I'm going to see what it does. And who knows, maybe something really strikes you that you never would have thought of. And sometimes it might just be, it was just relaxing. That was it. So you be the judge. But the idea that we're going through and we're doing all 49, I mean, it will have an impact on you, in ways that um, is hard to guess. Like you wouldn't see it coming, you could say. So anyway, let's get down to business. You have your communication support, and we're doing the standard approach. Again, this is a way to do something daily. a way to add to another protocol, or you can do stacks where you take 3 or 4 or even 5 different Auric programs and stack them together and do them as a big giant protocol. A great way to do maintenance in between times of doing the advanced approach. The advanced approach you might only want to do once or twice a week, but the standard approach you could do daily. So with that, let's begin inhaling. You're taking nice, long, slow, deep breaths. You're using communication support. Your awareness is on the whole left side of your body. Whole left side. Left side of your face and neck, your left shoulder, all the way down to the left outer ankle. We're still on the left side. Move your awareness to the front side, your face, throat, chest, all the way down to the tops of your feet. On the stream. Nice, long, slow, deep breath. And then the right side of the body, from the side of the face and neck, the right shoulder, all the way down to the right outer ankle. And then the back side of your body. Whole backside, back of your head, all the way down to your heels. And then just be still. Just be still. Notice how you feel. What do you notice? Your thoughts, your emotions, your body. Now we're going to do the advanced approach. So again, left side of your body, from the left side of your face, left shoulder all the way down your left hip to the left outer ankle. Nice, long, slow, deep breaths. Mm. That's a great one. Now the back side of the body, the back of your head and neck, your whole back, all the way down to your heels. Nice, long, slow, deep breaths. Then you're on the right side of your body, the whole right side, from the side of your face down to the outer ankle. And then the front side of your body. Nice, long, slow, deep breaths with your awareness on the front side of your body. And then pause and be still. Just pause and be still. Now, begin inhaling. Your awareness is on your knees. It can be the whole knee, being the front, side, and back, or you can just focus on the back of the knee. But long, slow, deep breaths. Your awareness is on your ankle. And then the soles of your feet. Your awareness is on the soles of your feet. Just pause and let go. Okay. Now we're going to do the 4 quadrants again. Left side of the body, from the side of your face, all the way down to the left outer ankle. The front side of the body, from your face all the way down to the tops of your feet. The right side of the body. And then the back side of the body, back of the head, all the way down to the heels. And then just pause and be still. Just let it incubate for a moment. Okay, let's do this last little section. Your awareness is on your brain. You're taking nice, long, slow, deep breaths with your awareness on the brain. Look. Your awareness is on the spine, your whole spine, from the base of your skull all the way down to your tailbone. The brain and spine together. Brain spine combo. Then your brain and soles of your feet. Your brain and soles of your feet both at the same time. Mm. And as you're inhaling, move your awareness up above your ankles. As you're exhaling, move your awareness down into the earth. Inhale up, exhale down. And then just be still. And checking in with your body and emotions, your feelings, your thoughts. How did that feel for you? Yeah. Okay, let's share experiences, ask questions, and process this. Unmute yourself or type in. Go ahead and fire away.
Give me just a sec, guys. And unmute yourself. You can raise your hand. You can just type in. Bottle dropped. I had
Yeah.
2 people with bottle drop in.
Yeah.
Comatose.
If you think about like if it's tapping into the intuitive mind, you usually are going to get more relaxed, even to the point where you might get a little sleepy or groggy. But it's just because that's intuition is very different than our intellectual mind. So usually we go into it in conjunction with or kind of through the rest and repair mode. And so, anyway.
A little softer.
Mhm.
Like, I don't know, like a guard went down,
Right.
or like there's like a softer flow or something.
So Samantha's saying she feels softer. And if you think about like a back and forth in communication, for when you're expressing, Two, you're also receiving, you're receiving information. And, you know, the ability to listen and the ability to like express more from the heart rather than just, the chatter from the mind, it does, everything softens up. Haven't you ever had a conversation with somebody where, I don't know, you can tell they're just waiting for a pause so that they can talk. They're not really listening to what you're saying. And it's not that they're being hard, but they're definitely not taking anything in. And so, I don't know.
And then we have relaxed and focused, clarifying.
Good.
And someone said, I find myself grinning like a happy, just fed lab. No thoughts, just joyful.
Oh, nice.
And then, Robert, I know you have a question for our programming. Go ahead and do that, and then we'll finish up, and then we'll go into the regular Q&A.
Hey, hey.
Hey, Greg. So I know you've talked in the past about the chakra breathing, how eventually the energy goes up higher than the ankles.
Right.
And today was really the first time I experienced that. It seemed to go almost to my knees.
Oh, nice.
But is it unusual that it doesn't go any farther down into the earth? Like it only
No,
seems to go
I
just,
mean, eventually, but you're actually not. I mean, going deeper is okay, but you're really wanting to hit like, that first like 5 or 10 feet at most. Like a lot of times I only go down like about a foot. And part of what you're doing is you are transmuting some energy down below your feet when you go through and do that process. And like if you go too deep, like just with your intention, you move like further down, you actually end up transmuting less. And so you kind of want to go to where the crappy stuff is, you know what I mean? Like
yes.
the things that are associated with that program, and they're usually not very deep. Like the deeper you go, it's like you almost like hit a different kind of realm. And that early stage of like hit your energy body hitting the earth, it's tied more to like your primal drives or your animalistic drives, the things that we talk about being on autopilot and automatic thinking, automatic behaving, extinctual responses, and just even processing sensory information. And that's really the stuff you want to clean up. And so um I would say over a period of time things go higher in the body, but like as far for myself, going down below the feet, it kind of has stayed about the same. Every once in a while it goes a little bit deeper, but like not much, like maybe another foot or something like that.
Yeah, and I wasn't making any intention of going higher up my leg
Mhm.
or further down. I observed it and I'm like,
Yeah,
huh. I would
yeah,
have, my logical mind says I'd expect it to be
yeah,
equal. And obviously it's not.
yeah. It's almost like you hit like this, like you're having to take a pickaxe and like break up this hard dirt below you. It
Yeah, it's like
feels,
I'm not going any farther down.
yeah,
This is it.
yeah,
Okay. So that's fine. Great.
yeah. I mean, that's what some of the tools are. Like in the Buddhist practices where you point the dorje down or you point the purba down, even the sword is you're addressing those same kinds of things, just in different ways, but you're trying to break it up, transmute it, whatever that might be, allowing more light to go in. So like when you're holding the dorje and you're pointing it down, you're shooting that energy down below your feet to try to transform or transfigure, however you want to say it, that area below your feet so that it does change your body, your emotions, your thoughts. It changes all of that. You know,
Okay. Thank you.
And then just stay there for a sec, Robert. We'll have you go first for our regular Q&A. I just want to check. Denise, do you have an art programming share or question?
Yes, I just wanted to say
Hey,
hi. It affected much more of my outside world. I mean, the floodgates opened. There was so much communication today.
oh,
Even
good.
even some friends, because my birthday's tomorrow. So I got some
Oh,
birthday
happy
cards.
birthday.
Thank you from some friends in high school, and one of our friends had passed away, and our last conversation that we had, there was this song that came on, and it's so funny. It was just I could tell she was just part of it in the spirit world.
Wow. Yeah,
It
yeah.
was really, really touching, Greg. It just because
Oh,
then I was
good.
at Walmart and that song came on. Another song came on that we had. I was just like all these coincidences, but lots and lots of communication throughout the day.
Good. Good,
So
good.
not I couldn't catch up with you all the time because I think the outside world's still pulling on me. But
Sure.
it has a really nice fragrance. Thank you.
Oh, good. Yeah, yeah. Yeah, I was looking up the blend. Um, it's Cape Chamomile and Brett and Pepo, Cistus and Basil.
Hmm.
Yeah.
And then we had one more art programming share in chat. And then if you guys have regular Q&A questions, go ahead and raise your hands there. And someone said sleepy and relaxed.
Yeah, yeah.
And so that note, we will complete week 11, but in week 12, just to have your oil ready for next week, is going to be connection support. So we'll do that next week, and glad you guys could join us this week. And with that, we'll conclude our ARC and somatic programming. And go ahead, Robert, go ahead and start us off, and then Lolly, then Linda.
Hey,
Hey,
hey.
Greg. Hey, long time no talk. Uh, so there's certain oils that I seem to take pretty much every day. And I
Mhm.
wanted to make sure that they're okay to use in that manner, or if I have
Sure.
to rotate or so on.
Okay.
Uh, there's four different ones: bay laurel,
Mhm. Yeah, good,
monarch,
good all the time.
okay, monarda complex,
Good all the time.
intestinal detox.
Yeah, it's good all the time. Like, I mean, you are kind of cleaning up the intestines and everything, and as long as your body still keeps feeling good about it, like there's nothing in there that you need to go, maybe give yourself a break. You're pretty straightforward, you know. And I would say, sometimes it's bacterias and things like that, but also there's just like poor lymphatic movement is in the gut. It's one of the areas that just has the worst lymphatic movement. And then mucus will build up. And so I would say that's fine to do all the time. And if you're really getting into the detox, I mean, there's different things that you could use. There's that blend that has the carrot and the rosemary camphor. I think it's digestive lymph is the name of that one. You can use that topically, but another one that I really like for the gut is helichrysum. And you could really put it on anywhere on your body. It doesn't even need to be on the gut. And so, like, say you put it on like your lower legs or your shoulder and neck, like if you have a problem somewhere, you could put the helichrysum on that and really in an ointment form. And the thing that it does is that helichrysum by its nature always has like a thinning effect on fluids. It makes them, you know, more fluid and less viscous. And so that would include mucus. And so putting that on the body anywhere, it will start to break down if there's a lot of impacted mucus on the walls of the intestines, over a period of time, it will break that down and you'll expel it out. And It just allows for everything to work better, it improves the lymphatic movement, and it would help that intestinal detox work better.
So the
You don't even
helichrysum,
need to do it every day. Like you could just do it like, 3 or 4 times a week. And usually when I do it, like I'm like, oh, this feels amazing. And I do it like 3 times a day. And then I do it for 2 or 3 days. And then I get sidetracked and I forget about it for a week. And then I come back, I was like, oh, yeah, I was doing that thing. And so, any version of that would work.
and from what you said, helichrysum tends to do it in a very soft manner.
Yeah, it's not like it doesn't cause like a detox crisis or you know what I mean. The only time that um, if you're dealing with like some cardiovascular issue or something, you mix helichrysum with like a little bit of rosemary verbena to help make the blood more fluid. And the only thing that happens with that is that if you get like a cut, you'll bleed longer. Your blood won't coagulate quite as fast. It still will. It just takes a little longer. And so, when you're dealing with things like plaque or, things that like people would take aspirin for heart issues, or like if somebody has a severe clotting issue, um, you would use that combo. And even the blood thing, I mean, if you do aspirin, that happens. So I mean, that's really, it's not anything more than that. And so yeah, you're okay there.
So going back to the intestinal detox,
Mhm.
it's not likely to throw me into a detox problem.
No, it's more just like helping to clean things up. Um it's a good like just cleanser. It's not gonna, how like there are some things where you start to detox it and it's like, ugh, it gets
Yeah.
sideways for a little bit, especially when you do like the fasting and taking things. It's not like that. It's just kind of a cleanser. I have this other one. I don't think we've actually ever put it out, but I've used it for many years. And there's this herb. It's not an essential oil blend. It's a tincture blend. And the primary herb in it is called sanicle. And then it's mixed with like I can't remember, like golden seal and myrrh and I don't know, like mullein or something. I'd have to look up the formula. But it's like that too. It's like a version of the intestinal detox. It just cleans things up to the point where you go, oh, I feel better. I feel lighter. I feel more alert. I feel, but it does that because it just goes in and like cleans things up,
Okay.
cleans up the lymph nodes, it cleans up the mucus, but mostly in the gut. Like, yeah.
So the fourth oil I was curious about is black cumin.
Oh, you can take that the rest of your life. Yeah.
Okay. And there's this spagyric black seed.
Yeah. Yeah. It's the same thing. Yeah.
So either way, I could do either
Either way.
one.
Yeah.
There any benefit of one over the other?
No, I kind of mix it up just because, you are getting like a different extraction profile. And, I think that's the thing, at least for myself, like, and even kind of how we talk about things sometimes is that, we start using something that produces a result, but then over a period of time, you'll go, well, in the beginning it was really doing something, and now it's like I'm sure it's doing something, but like I like the idea of rotating things,
Okay.
and you know, even there, you're really talking about the same substance, but it's a different extraction process, and sometimes you get some different aspects in the tincture versus the essential oil. And we have even making like a base oil out of black seed, black cumin, and it's almost ready. And it's And it's not just adding essential oil to like sesame oil. It's like using the fatty oil. I think I use sesame for that to extract things out. So it's like you have an alcohol extraction, you have a fatty oil extraction, and then you have a CO2 extraction with the black cumin. And so just like different ways of getting the same thing. And the fatty oil will be more of a topical thing. But you could still, if you're going to rotate it with some other things sometimes, rotate it with maybe a little turmeric or ginger or, things that have an anti-inflammatory effect. That way you're always kind of sure that you're doing as much as you can for, like, here you try and treat inflammation or stimulate the body's healing processes, because we go back to like how we talk about the intellect. In the body, it's homeostasis. And sometimes when you keep taking the same thing over and over again, the reason why some of it doesn't, like you don't have maximum impact, is the body gets used to it and it starts managing it and it starts doing its thing. And so it's like you kind of keep the body on its toes a little bit. Like you do it for a little bit and then you rotate out of it, could be a few months, and then maybe you do a couple weeks of ginger and then you go back to the black cumin. And I find that like when you rotate things like that, um I don't know, it could be in my mind, but it seems like I get better results. Like I even had this like bad, like I got bit by a spider, while I was sleeping. And, it looks like probably like a wolf spider or something bit me. And, it was a big, giant red spot. And so, I started doing the helichrysum and then, went down a little bit. And then it kind of like hit a plateau. And then I started putting like tea tree on it. And then it got some better. And then it kind of hit a plateau. And then I was like, now we'll do bay laurel. So then I started doing bay laurel and tea tree, and like it got a little bit better, but like then it just kind of hit this where it just stopped getting better. And I was like, ugh. And so I started doing some weird things. Like I put Cape Snowbush on it for a little while, just because, like in something like that, part of it is, yes, there's inflammation there, and there's probably a little bit of infection, and it was probably a little dirty. Like, with a bite like that, you're always looking for blood poisoning and things like that. And I didn't have the red line or anything. And so sometimes what's happening there is that area is getting like triggered, like there's things still triggering that inflammatory response. So you're not just trying to reduce inflammation, you're also trying to reduce that trigger. And you see that a lot of times, like when people have like the flu, like especially respiratory things, you start getting better and like, okay, I'm coming out of it, but like your nose just won't stop producing mucus. It's like everything's better, but I have a fire hose as a nose producing mucus. And part of what happened is your body started to go into like some of the allergic mechanisms or allergy mechanisms. And so you're not just dealing with infection and the effects of infection, but you're still having to turn off those things that get triggered that keep producing the mucus. And the bacteria and the virus is usually gone. And so now your body's in some triggered state. And so then I start putting Cape Snowbush on it. And like dark blue tansy would have worked and yarrow would have worked. And so to reduce the triggering, and that reduced it a little bit more. But then I had this like, was probably like the size of a quarter, where it just was not going away. And so I was like, God, I've been trying everything I could cycle back through. Start throwing oil on it, and start throwing the pines knocking it out. But, you know, probably wouldn't have done it at first. And so even like you take something like that where either the body's getting used to it, you're dealing with different aspects, you're dealing with different stages of something happening there. And, you know, whatever's going on, like it is either the oil or the combination is not hitting at all, or the body keeps acclimating and getting used to the treatment. And, so whatever it is, I keep mixing it up. And that, especially when something's not getting better, is you start going, okay, let's rotate things. And if you think about even like, I don't know, what was that? The power of realization, how we did like 7 steps for each system. And that's even the idea there too, is you're unwinding the tendency of the body just to get used to something and maintaining it, because it puts up its little defenses as well. And so you kind of just blast it wide open, and then you treat the stress in that particular system, and it makes a shift in the function of that system. And so, and if there's any like emotion or anything like tied to it. And the key is like, because we were doing 7 oils for each thing, and we're kind of firing through them kind of quickly, but you're not allowing the body to just start doing the usual, because especially like when you're sick or you're run down, the body's having to allocate like energy to run the body's processes and to heal. And so we're not always healing at the same rate. And sometimes you just manually have to go through the steps and go, let's hit all the blockages to healing, and then manually move this system into the right direction. And then the body starts to improve, it starts to have more energy, and then it starts kind of running with it. But it's almost like you're overriding a program of sorts.
So, what you said about black cumin to me makes sense. What I've been feeling is that my body's bored with it.
Yeah,
And
that's a great way of saying it. I actually love that. It gets bored. Yeah, like, yeah, he's doing the black cumin thing
yeah, I
again.
know it's coming
Right.
again. Yeah, I got this.
Right. I
So
love that. It's bored with it. That really kind of paints the picture for it. You know what I mean? But like, yeah, you do that and then you go, okay, not doing the black cumin, throw a little ginger,
Okay, and
throw a
the
little ginger at it.
ginger and
And
turmeric internal as
yeah,
well.
yeah, yeah, yeah,
Okay,
yeah.
good.
Yeah,
Uh,
those are both good. There's several things, and especially if you're wanting to do like a short bout of something, that's when you can definitely go to like yarrow or German chamomile. The thing with those are ones you don't want to do for super long periods of time. A month or so is good. But the thing that I would say about yarrow would reduce, obviously inflammation and reduce that triggering effect, which helps the body heal. But German chamomile is interesting in the way that it stimulates white blood cell production and helps like fight things off and clean up the metabolic waste and everything that's left over, like after you have an infection or after you have inflammation. It's a good like we always joke about kind of cleaning up the crime scene. Like
mhm.
German chamomile is incredibly good for cleaning up like after an infection or an injury, like you hurt your wrist and it gets all swollen, at some point, even the swelling, you could put German chamomile on, but like even after everything gets better to like clean that joint out really well, German chamomile is really good for that. That's why that blue healer body tonic or ointment or however you use it, like when you put it on an area, it's relaxing to the body. It cleans up all those things. It's anti-inflammatory. It has the benefit of all the different blue oils. And so, yeah, it's a good way to clean things up, uh, like after the fact.
And so German chamomile for a limited period of time could also be done internally.
Oh yeah, 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 yeah,
Okay,
yeah.
good.
I'd
Thank you.
say like about every, I don't know, 3 or 4 months, I'll do about a week of it. Just whether I need it or not, I'll just kind of go through and let it just clean things up in the body. And, you know, it's also good for the lungs. And I mean, it's good for a lot of things that you wouldn't think of. Like lungs, you wouldn't think of it being, it has a opening effect on the bronchioles, but it also kind of cleans up the lining of the lungs and you know, the mucous membranes and things. Yeah,
Okay,
yeah,
great. So, yeah, I remember trying ginger in my, let's say ginger is an acquired taste for me.
yeah, yeah. I mean, we usually, I mean, that's the thing that's nice about black cumin is it's pretty mellow.
Yes.
But turmeric can be kind of mellow. Um, I mean, it's got a taste too, though.
Yeah.
Ginger's got a more in your face kind of taste.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Even a little frankincense. Try with like a little frankincense or um boy, I'm drawing a blank right now. You're trying to just like reduce inflammation
Yeah,
just
in
in
an overall
general.
sense. Yes, it's not as specific.
Um even if you take a break of just taking things internally, you could do like a sage body tonic, just like put it on the body once a day. That could be another way of doing it.
Okay,
Yeah.
that sounds good.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
like body tonics because I can do other things.
Yeah.
It
They're
doesn't
easy.
interrupt
Yeah.
everything else.
Yeah. That's
Um,
usually like how I was talking about the helichrysum and a base oil. Usually, like I'm doing it and then I stop doing it because it's like, I can't get my hands oily.
right.
The shirt, I don't want to get it all over this shirt or, you know what I mean? And so that's usually why I fall out of doing it. And then, you know, discomfort has a way of bringing you back to it,
Yes,
And so,
yes. Convenience is what we
yeah, yeah,
strive
yeah.
for,
Right, right,
unfortunately. Well, thank
right.
you very
You're
much.
so welcome.
And then go ahead, Lolly, then Linda.
Hey, Lolly.
Hey, um, oh my God, so many things happening. Can you imagine that? So, the practice right now is amazing. I don't even understand how my mind goes to all these like random places. And I'm
Mhm.
like, what? Yeah, so thank you. The weekend was so the interesting thing is like overall, my body, my mind are better. Like it's more quiet, it's more peaceful. That's great. I finished my taxes on like, Sunday night because I had so much energy. So the weekend was amazing. So thank you. Downside is well that all the symptoms are not really so the situation with my eyes still there. I don't feel as much discomfort.
Is it getting any better or like
It's
what's
not getting
happening?
worse. It's not getting worse. I still have the bump on the side of the left eye. I still have a bump in the middle of the right eye. So it's the top eyelid on both. But it's not really improving. It's not painful anymore, the right side, which is good. But I've been really consistent doing golden seal since Thursday, twice a day. I thought I didn't have the one from you, but I do, so I'm doing that. So I'm doing golden seal twice a day. I'm doing German
So
chamomile.
what did the doctor say that was? It said it was a sty?
It's a sty, and basically gave me eye drops that it's steroids and antibiotics combined, which I've been doing twice a day because, yeah, in case it's actually helpful. Yeah, and I've been doing hot compresses. And yeah, golden seal twice a day, German chamomile, which I don't know if it's doing anything, but I'm taking that. Galbanum, black cumin, all the ones you just mentioned. What do I have? I have some turmeric, I have some ginger, sage in my
I,
body.
I I don't know that you need to add anything, but like what, so you're doing the compresses and maybe after you do the compress, like just like take your finger and just kind of lightly like keep stroking that eyelid.
Yeah, I do that.
You've been doing that too?
I keep massaging it from, but yeah. I'm also, so basically, I mean, it has to do with some kind of an infection that has to do with the glands.
Yeah.
So it can connect to what is also been going on, which is a new thing. Because I am taking adrenal support, I'm taking time, taking ANS support. Can you take too many oils internally? Because
Well,
the other situation that came up, because I got the blood test results in case you can connect it in a different way. Like you said, the issue is adrenals and endocrine system. My hormones are like getting very personal, but my hormones are a mess, basically. My thyroid is a little bit high, so it's hypo a little bit.
okay.
Which is different than the tests from like 3 months ago. So I don't know what happened. So basically, and my iron is still same thing, but my B12 is fine, so I can go back to the better iron supplement.
Okay.
I'm doing adrenal support already. So I don't know if all of that has to do with the eyes as well and the glands.
Mm.
My cholesterol is it's still high, but it's better.
Like what's it at?
It was over 300. Now it's 270? Give me a second. 275, I think, something like that. Let me find
And where was
But
it at? 300?
it was a 3. Yeah, now it's 273. It was like a 310 before. So there's slight
Okay.
improvement. So I can continue doing the cholesterol support. And my D and my potassium are also better.
The what are?
My vitamin D and the potassium are
Oh,
better.
gotcha.
But the main thing is really the thyroid and the hormones. And the thyroid is not super high, but it's
When you say hormones, like all your hormones, or
yeah. Each one of them is in a different level, but they're not happy. And I haven't started. I'm still waiting on the Vitex, but I'll start doing that.
Hmm. And when they tested you, did they test any of the hormones that associate with the pituitary?
I don't know. I don't
Okay.
think so. What would I don't even know what those be.
Yeah, that's okay.
Okay. And yeah, and that's something that's just like the thyroid, the numbers went up like from the test. The previous test was fine.
Well, you know the rest and repair part, the parasympathetic activity of the nervous system looks better. But if I look at it compared to the fight, flight, action area, like that part doesn't quite have the tone. And like when you see like the body's just going into this weird chaotic thing, a lot of times that's an issue of uh, like poor tone in that side of the nervous system, the fight, flight, action activity, which also usually directly corresponds to adrenal fatigue. And so I would say, I don't know that you And then kind of leave everything where it is as far as the things you're taking. Are you taking rosemary verbena by itself? I can't remember.
I'm not, sure, but I
Let's,
can
you're
take that.
taking it in the cholesterol support, right? So
Yeah,
it's in with the cypress. And
yeah.
so let's have you just add like maybe rosemary verbena to your wrist, like maybe 2 or 3 times a day. And actually, let's have you alternate it with pine oil, like Sylvester pine or Scotch pine, whatever kind of.
I actually it's in my cart to add the Sylvester pine. And okay.
Okay, so if you haven't got it yet and you're going to get white pine
Oh,
instead of
okay.
Sylvester. Um, it, it it's a little bit more fortifying. Like Sylvester pine fortifies the adrenals in a particular way. The white pine fortifies them in a slightly different way, and it also has a little bit more like a stimulating effect on the cognitive processes, which usually means that it's more balancing to the body. Like anytime that something stimulates cognitive processes, it means that the body is functioning well so that the mind can work. Because a lot of times when we have like my fuzzy thinking or I have a hard time processing things or I can't remember, it's usually the adrenals are fatigued, lymphatic function's off, hormones aren't doing what they should or not being delivered to where they go. And so the rosemary verbena will affect the adrenals and tone up the sympathetic part of the nervous system. And it's one of the things that you use like when the body's just chaotic and you can't figure out what's going on. It's like the rosemary verbena kind of calms things down so that you can go, oh, okay, now that the body's calm, these are the things to address, right? But like when it's like chaos, you're just trying to put fires out.
Mm-hmm.
And the the pine doesn't quite tone the nervous system specifically like that. It tones the whole, like kind of the whole nervous system, but it is very good for dealing with fatigued adrenals, like depleted adrenals. And so, I've had a few bouts of that in my life where the adrenals just got super depleted and, you know, you usually had little weird health issues that came up when that happened. And then when I got them all calmed down, those health issues almost vanished. And so I would say, let's keep going down that rabbit hole. The other side, the parasympathetic side looks way better than it did, like way
Okay.
better. But you still have a glitch in that part of your nervous
Mm-hmm.
system.
So, so then you wouldn't take the rosemary verbena internally. You would just put it on
You're
the
already
wrist.
doing so much internal and you're already getting it in the cholesterol support. You could
Okay.
add a little bit, but you probably could get away with it just putting it on topically.
Okay, but if it's easy for me to take internally, then it's
Yeah,
fine
it's
as
fine. Yeah.
well. Okay, and then maybe take it like one in the morning and one in the evening.
Sure. I mean, you're already taking, I'd say, whenever you do the cholesterol support, be it morning or night,
Mm-hmm.
just do the extra rosemary the other
Okay,
day. Yeah, that's probably.
okay. And then the white pine, using it on the wrists, not internally. The white pine.
Yeah, you would just do it topically.
Should I do like a small roller ball or does it need to be neat? Like, is there a
Um,
difference?
I,
Because I
I
was
don't know.
wondering.
I kind of like taking baths with it. And so I would say, I mean, I like doing that with all the different pines, but I mean, you could definitely do a rollerball, but if there's a potential where you might do thank you, where you might do baths, then I'd get the 5 mil.
Oh, that's the reason
Of
that
just
you
a regular, yeah. But if you're not going to do salt baths with it, then do a
no.
rollerball, put it on your wrist. I actually like to put it on the chest as well because it's also a great like respiratory tonic. Like it's very good for the respiratory tract.
Okay. And then
Yeah.
so the white pine would be, so it's doing different things. And so, and what, but when you're doing like the urinary tract, then you'll go with the Sylvester pine. Or you can do
Yes.
white
Yeah.
pines. You would do
Actually, you could do
Sylvester.
either on those.
You could do
Yeah,
either. Okay.
you could do either on those. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then for the
What white
thyroid,
pine for whatever reason also is a little bit stronger. Like Sylvester pine is very good for elevating like cortisone levels in the body and things.
yeah.
So inflammation and things like that. White pine has a little bit more of an impact on the immune system. Like it's a lot more fortifying to the immune system than other types of pine.
Okay. Yeah,
Yeah.
and because of the
Like they all have
cortisol,
their little personalities, you know what I mean?
yeah.
You know.
And because of the cortisol level, that's why I thought the Sylvester pine. So yeah, and thank you. So
Yeah.
I'll order the other one.
Yeah.
And then for the thyroid, I mean, the doctor told me to start taking iodine, and then do like Brazil nuts. So I can do like 1 or 2 a day for the selenium.
Oh, nice. Yeah, that would work.
Yeah, because I've done that in the past with it. So, and then should I do clove?
So are you using clove at all? I can't remember.
No.
So clove is very balancing to the thyroid.
Yeah.
Iodine's a pretty good thing to do as well. So like
So,
either or. Yeah.
oh, you do either or, you wouldn't do both?
You could. Yeah. Yeah, you
I mean,
could.
hey, whatever gets me to a
Yeah.
better place.
I'm just the reason why I'm like I just don't want your breakfast to be supplements, essential oils, and like
Right.
because I've been
Yeah,
there, like you know what I mean. I
it
keep
is
trying to
at
go
this point. Yeah.
like okay, let's just make it a side dish and not the
Yeah.
plate. And
And I mean,
so
and clove is
that's
a
why I
little
say
bit,
that.
it does taste a little bit stronger than the other ones. But again, if it's helpful,
Yeah, just put in a little bit of juice or something.
yeah. But then,
You know, I go without clove. Like I like to use it even just for like taking out tension in the gut. And you know, I'll use it a few times and like I was like, man, this is amazing. And then I'll go months without using it.
so really when taking something like that, you would do it for what? For like a few weeks or so, or just,
For the thyroid, you do it for a while.
yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. But
Yeah.
then, so ideally adding it as well.
Yeah. I mean, if they
Okay.
got you like doing iodine, you probably
I
need,
do like,
yeah,
so I do iodine like 1 drop, so it's not too much.
right.
Only like 1 to 2 drops, yeah.
Yeah.
Um, okay, and then the German chamomile still, do you think that's still helpful for my eyes?
And you're doing that topically or internally?
No, internally.
You probably could give it a break.
Okay.
Um,
Yeah,
you know
the
what
eyes I
I
don't
might have you like rotate to is stop taking that internally just for a week. Let's just see. Like
yeah.
give your body a little bit of a break and take a little bit of helichrysum and mix it with like some lotion or fatty oil and rub it into your temples.
Okay.
And the idea being that, you know, it's kind of like what I was saying to Robert, how it thins down like fluids
Mm-hmm.
and the idea of just like opening up, you know, you don't want to put it on your eyes, but if you get it just kind of close, it will do the trick. And, you know, if there's things that are clogged or, you know, sometimes things get really thick and viscous and don't move through the pathways that they should, and just try to open that up just for like a week. Like, you know, it doesn't
Mm-hmm.
have to be a long
Okay.
period of time, but
Okay.
yeah.
I can do that.
I mean,
Okay.
sites can definitely like linger for a period of time, but it seems like it's been there for quite a while now.
Now we're at 3.5 weeks or so. Yeah.
Yeah.
So, and I keep massaging and okay, I'll try that. And
Yeah.
then for the adrenals, would you add anything other than adrenal support and thyme? Should I do like Angelica, Three Wise Men, anything like that?
No, I think the things that we said. Yeah.
Okay. I'm like, okay.
Yeah.
And then golden seal, do you usually do what? How much time can I take? Like it feels, something about it feels really good. Would you
Yeah,
usually do it
I mean,
for
ideally you go for like 3 or 4 weeks, but in some
that's
cases you go for a few months. and then
Okay.
you take a break for a few weeks. But you've been taking it for a few weeks. I would still stay on it.
No, Golden still consistently. I'm actually barely at a week. I started Thursday after we talked.
Oh, then yeah, you can take it for quite a while now.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. And then going back to what Robert just mentioned about the black cumin. I do black cumin even twice a day actually, and galbanum. Should I switch the black cumin essential
How
oil
long have you
into
been doing
a while? I need to buy a new bottle. I'm already done with my 10.
Well,
Yeah.
I would say with the changes that you're making right now, I would say probably stick with what you're doing and just make the changes that we talked about. That way you can kind of gauge what's going on. And then maybe in a couple of weeks, rotate to something a little different, like ginger or turmeric. I
Which
kind of
I'm
like the
doing
idea
as
of
well.
ginger for you. But
I'm doing the ginger tonic.
oh, perfect.
Yeah. I'm like, okay, so keep doing the black cumin
Yeah,
though.
yeah.
Okay. And
Yeah.
then
The big add I would say is more rosemary verbena
okay.
and the pine, you know.
Okay. So I'll
Um,
order, yeah, and I'll order the pine
yeah.
tonight and rosemary verbena and I'll add as
Like it's
well.
interesting because like when we were first evaluating this, I don't know, a while ago, your parasympathetic looked so much weaker than the other side. And now that it's like kind of strong and vibrant, it
Mm-hmm.
makes the other side just look dwarfed. Like it's just, the other side was really lacking tone. So that usually means like prolonged periods of, your body being in a stress state and,
Yeah. And I mean, the thing is that even though the eyes look pretty much the same, overall, I feel stronger. Like my mind
yeah,
feels
no, when I
stronger.
look
My
at you, you look
overall,
better. Yeah.
yeah,
But it's still,
and
you're
it
mopping
shifts.
up some symptoms that, your body's still a bit chaotic. It's not as
Yeah.
bad as it was, but it's still a little like in freak out mode. And so
Mm-hmm.
that usually means like that part of the nervous system. So,
Yeah. And the shift was Thursday.
oh, good.
After we talked and yeah, so that was, I
Oh,
really
good.
felt that,
Yeah.
that made a
Very
big
good.
difference, so thank you.
Yes, sir.
After the session, it's something really shifted, and then the weekend was like another really needed, like,
Yeah.
so
Regeneration always feels nice. Like it's just calming and soothing to the body on so many levels.
and to me, I'm still like, it's always like such a surprise to me, like how much how beneficial it is. Like, and
Right.
also I switched my mind from like keep checking what I look like to like, okay, it's gonna have to resolve at some point. So
Right.
thank you. And then oils internally, I'm also doing like Palmarosa, Schisandra, and Spikenard before bed. Should I keep those?
Yeah, those all sound great. Yeah.
Okay, so there's no, like, I don't need to like stop or, okay.
No.
Okay.
All of those are made to be long-term treatments if you need it. Yeah.
Okay. Thank you. I figured the Schisandra also is gonna hydrate some things and maybe help.
And it's doing nice things for your nervous system and like it's making you sleep better and it's helpful.
Okay, thank you. And then the Vitex ones, I have that just on the temples like once a day.
Mm-hmm.
And with that, is there a difference? I ordered the regular bottle, but is there a difference between doing it neat and doing it in a roller ball, or it's the same thing?
No.
Same. Okay. And then last question. We talked about helichrysum for like old scars or old scar tissue with the area that's itchy, and you mentioned to use it neat, but I'm wondering if I were to use it in an ointment, would it be the same? It's going to be as beneficial, or for that purpose?
Yeah, it would. It might take a little longer sometimes. Like usually what I do is neat for like on an old scar for like a week or two, and then I switch over to an ointment.
Oh,
But if
okay.
you
So
want to
that's,
just jump, if you just want to jump to the ointment, you can.
it's fine. It's going to be probably a little while until I start that. So it's a good, yeah. Okay, perfect. Thank you.
You're
Thanks
so
so much. Thank you.
And then go ahead, Linda, then Christina.
Hey, Linda.
Hi. So I have two testimonials for you today, and it's so
Oh,
interesting.
great.
have to do with what we're talking about. It's amazing. The first one is the helichrysum. Last
Oh,
week,
yeah,
you told me to put that on that trigger point, on the sides of my body and my rib cage
right.
for my breathing.
Uh-huh.
And oh my God, Greg, that was like a miracle.
Oh, good.
I mean,
Yeah.
I am breathing so much more open. I don't have pain
Like,
in my spine.
that's the thing. Like, I was probably going on and on about it is, so many times we just think of the respiratory system. We forget about it's in a shell of the rib cage and the muscles. And, when I was looking at you and I was listening to the things that you were saying, I was like, I think it's more muscular.
Yes,
Yeah.
totally. And of course, that's
Yeah.
helping the rest of my back muscles and
Yeah.
my hip muscles.
Tremendous.
I
Yeah.
mean, seriously, it's like, oh my God, it's a miracle.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I'm keeping that up, and that's and I was really glad to hear you talk with Robert about the helichrysum today, because I was wondering, it's like, well, how is that so magical? How did it do
Yeah.
that fast?
I mean, like other names that, I use the term helichrysm, but in the more like French and Italian ways, they call it like immortel, like immortal. And they also call it everlasting. And it's just because it's this magical thing. Like if you ask most like old school medical aromatherapists, like if you had 5 oils on a desert island, what would you take? Every one of them would say helichrysum.
Wow.
They might say other things for other things, but I guarantee you every one of them will say helichrysum. I mean, it's just
Yeah.
magic. It really is.
It really is.
Mm.
So thank you. In fact, I want you to know, I also suggested to Rebecca to do that.
Mhm.
Rebecca, who you're helping me with, and she's working with you and all of that. And she said over the weekend that it's helping her breath also be a little bit more free.
Oh,
And
good.
so
And
that's
it's kind of like how we were saying, like with Robert is like mix it up, like you do the sides and then one time do like the top and maybe the chest and kind of keep mixing it up of where you apply it, especially for her. And even the neck and down on the abdomen, and just keep trying to open everything up like that. Yeah.
yeah. So thank you for that.
Yeah, you're so welcome.
Then the other testimony I'll have is for the rosemary verbena. You were just talking with Lolly about that too. So I started a few weeks back. You might recall I was telling you how great the healing stress class was and using the rosemary verbena for the equilibrium segment. And I've been doing that like every day. And in there, you mentioned that over the course of time, that you'll notice that it'll start to improve your sinuses and your breathing. And I am here to tell you, you're right. It is.
Yeah. It's not like that's the thing. Like, like a lot of times when we do things and I don't know, we want like I took it 2 or 3 times and I'm still congested. Like, which is true. Like, I've used it a few times when my nose is real congested and I was like, I've done it for 2 days. It's helping a little bit, but not much. Like I want I want instant relief, right? And that idea of like treating it over a long period of time, because it is kind of that same mechanism we were talking about with Lolly, where sometimes that fight flight mechanism or side of the nervous system, which is the sympathetic part of your nerves, it loses tone just like the other side, and the byproduct will be that the body is like kind of in a stress state and you don't even know why. Like it's not even because I did this or I did that. It's just the body's just kind of wonky for a little bit. And like I was telling Lolly, I had that a couple of times when I was younger, where yeah, I got pretty sick. Like I got really run down that way. And you know, like taking it over a period of time, you'll notice like I feel better. I don't have the sinus issue. My body feels more balanced. It feels like it can take a punch a little bit. You know, it's just it makes everything work better, And those two oils work really good together. And the other thing with, using the helichrysum on your body, even though you're putting it on your chest and everything, it still also has an effect of thinning down the mucus a little bit. Again, not overnight, but it also will reduce the intensity of an allergic response. It might not make it completely go away, but it will keep calming down the allergic responses. And so um, it's a very good combination. It helps to kind of clean out the mucus, open up everything, balance the nervous system. You're with a rosemary, you're hitting the adrenals. A lot of things happening with just using those two oils on your body.
Mhm.
Yeah.
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 Well, thank you. I'm getting a lot of benefits.
Yeah, I'm
and
so happy for you. I'm so glad that that's getting all better.
Yeah, thank you so
Yeah.
much.
Yeah. And so I would still take the rosemary verbena for a little while. And then, you can take a break, but like from time to time, just tune it up. Like when you start to feel like, how you start getting up out of bed and you're like, I don't feel as fresh as I usually do, or, I'm getting a little tired, earlier in the day, or, whatever that might be, is that could be the losing tone in that part of the nervous system. And so just tone it up from time to time. The other one is fuzzy thinking. Like if the mind starts getting a little fuzzy and like you're having a harder and harder time for memory recall, it still can be that nerve.
Well, I also do switch it out sometimes and do the protocol with basil.
Oh yeah.
And so
Yeah,
that's
yeah.
that's nice too, because I hear what you're saying about sometimes our
Yeah.
bodies will just like
Yeah.
gets enough of that. So I'm switching that up once in a while with basil.
And basil still good for stress. Basil still good for the adrenals. Doesn't quite tone that nerve up as much, but if that nerve is toned, then it kind of doesn't matter.
Right, but it does help with my brain clarity.
Yeah.
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 And then I've also been starting to work more actively, almost daily, with the advanced Moses technique using sage.
Oh, good.
Yeah, I feel like hyssop isn't really quite my oil. Like I kind of feel I get groggy with it and I get irritable after doing
Mm.
the advanced Moses technique with hyssop.
Hmm.
But with sage, it feels better to me.
Yeah, then lean into that sage.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So between those oils, I think I just got a nice
And
combination right now.
the other thing that's great about sage is, it's considered a cure-all because again, kind of like how the rosemary verbena helps bring the body into balance, and if things are going a little wonky or something, like a cure-all just means that like when something's going on in your body and you don't know like what to do or how to treat it, you use one of the cure-alls because it just starts making things function better. It increases energy levels. Most of them hit the adrenals. Most of them have some sort of impact on the nervous system. They just start kind of fortifying and regulating things. And sage is one of those other ones that, you know, God, I love sage.
Yeah, me too. So,
Yeah.
all right. Thank you so
Good for
much.
you. I'm so happy you're getting such good results.
Me too. Bye.
You take care.
And then go ahead, Christina, then Priya.
Hey, Christina.
Hi, Greg. How are you?
I'm doing good. How about you?
I'm good, thank you. So, I have a question about the Astara oils. I have lavender oil,
Uh-huh.
and besides doing diffusing it and maybe taking a salt bath,
Uh-huh.
can I put a couple drops on my body? If
Oh yeah,
so,
you could go crazy with it on your body.
okay. Any particular areas that you would suggest?
Well, it depends on what you're trying to do. Like if you're even trying to deal with like mental fatigue or something, you could do inhalation, put it like on those little points on your shoulders or a little bit on the chest so that you're inhaling it a lot. With mental fatigue, like when I say mental fatigue, I mean more mental stress, like you're processing a bunch of information or reading something, you're like, oh God, I need a break. that's the mind gets stressed a little bit. And so even putting a couple drops of that in water and drinking it, that would work. Another thing to do if you just want to relax like at night is put several drops on your feet, like on the soles of your feet and between your toes. It'll relax the body, clean up the energy body, help induce deeper levels of sleep. And lavender does a lot of different things. And so I'd even look at, we have in the, where would they find all the information on lavender? In the,
In the blog.
yeah, so in the blog, if you punch in lavender, you can find all that. So, that's, I mean, it's obvious. I say it's obvious. Plant Prana gives that to Astara, those oils. And so it's the Bulgarian lavender. So
Right. So I was thinking of maybe specific chakras for like enhanced meditation or sleep at
with
night.
lavender,
Or-
like, yeah, I mean, it wouldn't be crazy enhancing meditation, but I mean,
Mhm.
anytime you calm the body down, it can be helpful. Um, I wouldn't say that it's super expensive, and I wouldn't say that it's super grounding, but it's very like calming and regulating. And so, like, especially if you're in times of stress or something like that, there's been times where, travel or whatever, it used to be my jam way back in the day when I'd feel like I stressed, I'd put like 4 or 5 drops on my solar plexus and like it would calm it down. So you can do little tricks like that. You put little drops on the thumb web right here on each side, and it would like soothe the heart and help release things out of the solar plexus a bit.
Mhm. Yeah, I was thinking more of like the spiritual application
Hmm.
for that. So
Yeah, that you can do sustained inhalation, put it on your feet, or diffuse it in the environment. Yeah.
mm. And then my other question is, do you have any recommendation for in terms of essential oils for like a gum infection?
For a gum infection, probably clove would be your go-to thing. Clove is very good. Clove is very good for the teeth. Like it's very good for the gums. It's very antibacterial. So if there's an infection, it also will reduce some of the pain. And, if you use it like in a mouthwash or, like a mouth rinse, um, it is said, the only way I can verify it is people that I know that are scientists that, like there's a biochemist that I know, and he swears that um, the clove helps to like remineralize the teeth. And so, but I mean, you'd have to use it daily, but um,
So
putting
I've
that,
been,
putting
oh,
that directly on, like, the clove can be a little hot. Like whenever I've had that, I just put on my finger and rub it on a spot. But usually what I tell people is put it on a Q-tip and then rub it so you don't get it on your finger. But it will still be a little spicy, but it will really cut the infection kind of quick, usually. Not every time, but usually.
when you say spicy, is it like stingy? Is that
Yeah,
what
it's
you
a
mean?
little tingly,
Yeah,
little
tingly.
spicy for a little bit.
So
Yeah.
I've been using hydrogen peroxide, like half and
Yeah, that's
half
great.
water.
Yeah,
Can I
yeah.
put a little bit of clove in there too? Or
Yeah.
would I
I don't
just
see
put it
why
in
not.
water and
No, I don't see why not.
okay. And then
Yeah.
would you recommend that I take it internally as well, or just
For the
topically is
teeth,
okay?
probably not necessary. If you're
Okay.
wanting to take something internally for the infection, is I would probably use some form of thyme.
Would that be like a natural antibiotic, would you
Correct.
say, at the
Yeah.
time?
Yeah.
Any specific time or, because I know there's many
Um,
different types of time.
I would go really straightforward with like either red or white.
Red time or white
Yeah.
time.
Yeah.
And then 1 or 2 drops like
I'd
daily
do two
or
or three drops. Yeah.
2, 3
I mean, your
drops.
your body's kind of fighting off an infection, so I'd try to kick that infection's butt. You know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah. Do I do it once a day, twice a day?
Probably once a day is good.
Once a day.
Yeah. The other thing to take into account with like teeth is you could do this both as a gargle and you could apply it directly, or you could take it internally, or all of the above is the tincture of echinacea. You know,
Okay.
echinacea is a good blood purifier. It's good for infection, but it's also good for like cleaning up the gums and things like that. Like when I traveled with the medicine man, um, you know, he'd tell me to go get toothache medicine. And I was like, I don't know what you're talking about. He'd look at me like I was a moron. Toothache medicine. I was like, I do not know what you're talking about. It's echinacea. You know, that's how they treat most dental stuff, you know, on the reservation. You know, yeah. So
Well,
like
thank
you
you.
could take
Yeah.
the tincture and like, you know, either squirt it on the area, or I'd like put it on a few drops and then just keep rubbing it on the spot. And it does help to clean that stuff up. You know, you could put like a half a dropper full or something and then in your gargle as well. And, you know, help clean things up.
Thank you so much, Greg.
You're so
Appreciate it.
welcome. Yeah.
And then go ahead, Priya, then Ralph.
Hey, Priya,
Hello.
how are you?
Good, thanks. Really good, actually. Been
Good, good.
quite productive last few days. With regards to the rotation of oils, I just wanted to quickly
Mhm.
double check. I've been taking cinnamon for many months now, pretty much
Okay.
since the start of recommendation, and only stopped last week because I got liberation, and oh my God, liberation is so tasty. I put it in the cacao drink, but I wanted to double check with you. Is it safe to take it internally?
Liberation. No, it's not. Liberation is fine to take internal, but I would say take it for maybe 3 weeks and then a break of a week or two, and then you can go back to 3 weeks. And the only reason is, you know, liberation is cinnamon, clove, lemon, but the thing that you want to take the break from is it's also got savory in it.
Mm.
And savory is like the Marines that hit the beach. I mean, so is cinnamon when it comes to like infection and things like that. But savory, you need to take a break from time to time. And so, you know, you're not taking a bunch of savory, so you could probably take it for 3 weeks, a month. But you know, you don't want to, you know, overstimulate the immune system and things.
Yeah, so that's what savory does.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay.
savory is like when you're sick, that is when, you know, you bust out savory like in the middle of a cold or flu or something like that.
Is that also what's adding to my energy levels a little bit in the last
Probably.
few days?
Yeah, yeah.
Oh my God.
Savory is you know, going back to how we were talking about toning up the nervous system, the activity side. You know, you can use rosemary, you can use like Ravensara to a certain extent. You know, there's certain things that you can use, but oregano is one that will increase your energy levels. And um, savory and oregano are very similar. Like they hang out the same places. You know what I mean? Like they do the same
Yeah.
things. And so your energy levels probably go up. Because you really wouldn't think of like oregano as elevating energy levels, but it does. You know, it's one of the things I used to give people after they would be in a car accident. You know, they'd feel okay in a period of time. All of a sudden, their energy levels would start dropping quite substantially. And so I would give them a concoction of like thyme linalool and Ravensara, and then just a little bit of oregano, and their energy levels would pop right back up. And so savory does the same thing and might even do it more. And
Yeah.
so yeah, I think you're good with that.
Yeah. Because I did start to feel that cinnamon. Yeah, I'm not too sure anymore. Because
Yeah, I
obviously the
like what
body
Robert
gets.
said. Your body got bored
Yeah.
with it. Like, you know, it's good
Yeah.
to kind of mix it
Yeah.
up a little bit. Yeah.
So liberation would be one choice for rotation,
Yeah.
and
Oh, yeah,
then
totally. Yeah, totally.
uh, is there any other options which would be like stimulating to the system, like cinnamon?
I mean, it would be different, but rosemary verbena is always kind of good for stuff like that. It would be different, but still like the idea of like toning up the nerves and the adrenals. Um, and then like soft forms of time. You know, if you're going to take it for long periods of time, if you're going to do short periods of time, you can go with red time, white time. But if you're going to take it over a few months or something, do like time thuyonol or time linalool, time geranol. Do something that's strengthening. You know, like here we talk about like you could take the time 2 or 3 drops internally, but one of my favorite things to do like when I feel like, I'm just my body's starting to get the blahs, like I'm starting to feel like a little run down, or what's that saying? Like a horse that's been ridden hard and put away wet, where
Mm.
just, you know, start thinking about sleep a little too much. You know what I mean? Like, oh, I can't wait till I can go to bed. Or um, one of the things that's kind of revitalizing is I'll take a bath with thyme linalool. Like I'll put like 15, 20 drops in with, some salt and soak in that. And I get up, my body feels stronger, but I still feel like, yeah, if I'm tired, I could go to sleep, but I wake up feeling stronger. I feel better. And I'd put Ravensara in that mix as well, you know.
Thank you. Yeah,
Yeah.
I don't think I have Raven Saraf. I do have time linalool, so I'll
Yeah. Then
drink
if
that
if you
water.
do you have a bathtub?
Yes, yes,
Yeah,
yes.
take a bath, like, make sure your body can handle it. But I mean, I've done more than 15 or 20 drops, and it's soft enough on the body. It didn't have a reaction, but it depends on your body, like if your body's reactive to the oils or not.
Yeah. Thank you. That's
You're so
great.
welcome.
And
Yeah, I'm glad you're doing
yeah,
that.
yeah, I am. Yesterday afternoon, I started to feel a bit like, oh my God, my energy is going down a little bit. But this preparation stuff is really good. I added to
Yeah,
my
yeah,
hot
yeah,
drink, and
yeah,
it makes it like a really nice spiced hot
yeah,
cacao
it does.
drink.
Yeah, yeah.
Now, thank
That's
you
a
for
very old formula, by the way. That's actually wasn't my formula. That was uh, a French doctor who was a medical aromatherapist. That's how he would treat people in the middle of like being sick, like with the flu or influenza. And so, yeah, it's a formula that's very, very old. I just, when it works, because he sees the clinical results and does testing and whatever. And so, they usually don't have a lot of areas that they like talk about, but they'll have areas that they have really focused on. And for this one guy, like the immune system is his jam. And so that was one of the blends from that from way back in the day.
love it. And I think I love it also because it warms me up. Like my body's
Yeah,
always
yeah,
really
oh yeah,
under cooler. Like I
yeah,
feel super cold. And
yeah,
Melbourne weather is like bipolar, one day is 35, next
right,
day is 17 sometimes.
right.
So this really keeps me warm. And
Yeah,
yeah, I feel
I would say that's a bit of a circulation tonic, because if you look at it, the clove is relaxing the gut, the savory, it's doing things to the lymphatic system and to the immune system. Cinnamon's definitely a circulatory like stimulant. It makes circulation happen much better in the body. And then you have lemon that also improves circulation, helps to regulate mineral depletions and things like that, and also has a little bit of a just slight thinning effect on the blood. So it makes it easier to pump blood through the body. So it's a very good circulatory tonic. Yeah, very good.
like when you say lemon, I would have thought that it'll curdle up the milk, but it doesn't.
Yeah, it shouldn't. Oh, yeah. Like if you put
It
lemon juice
doesn't.
in it, totally will. But the
Yeah.
oil, I don't think it does. Yeah, yeah,
Interesting.
yeah.
But yeah, and my sister, she loves my personal blend. She
Oh,
loves
yeah.
it. I have to say, it might be one of her most favorite ones she smelled so far. So, and she felt so great after the nerve help
Oh,
the little
good.
bit of a massage that I did. She totally loved it. Can I put some of the personal blend on her chest when I
Which
see
blend?
her next? My personal one, the
Oh
one,
yeah,
your
totally.
personal one.
Totally.
Yep.
Yeah, yeah, totally.
Yeah, because that's her favorite now.
Yeah,
Thank
yeah.
you.
We can make it for her and I'll just put her name on the label.
I'll check with her. I'll let you know. But thank you for everything.
You're so welcome.
And go ahead, Ralph and Lolly.
Hey, Greg.
Hey,
Okay, so you sent me my blend and
yes.
I'm back from vacation, so I actually have it in my hand now.
Okay.
What's the most effective way to use that?
So put it directly on the spots that you're concerned about. If it's an
Okay.
open wound, I wouldn't do that. Like,
Okay.
so as long as it's like closed, but any area where you're concerned, like, and then salt baths.
Okay.
Yeah. If you can't do a salt bath, then
I
you can
have
pick up
salt. I have
body.
salt foot bath. Yeah.
Well, it's more about getting it on the body. So I'd say put it in some alcohol or something and rub it on the whole
Oh,
body.
okay. Make a body
Yeah.
tonic.
Yeah.
Okay. Also time Linalool. I just figured out that I'm running down, so I've ordered another one. But in the meantime, is there a B choice available? I have a
Or
couple other times for time
what are you
Linalool.
trying to do with it?
It was one that you had recommended for me. I was doing a couple drops, internal every day, two
Was it for
drops,
like energy levels or
just for the attacking the cancer buildup.
oh, yeah,
Wrist
you can
twice
use
a
one of the
day,
other
inhale.
use one of the other times until you get it. Yeah.
I have Moroccan time. That a good
Yeah.
one?
Perfect.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
All right. Okay.
Yeah. Good, good. And how's all that going?
Well, I haven't felt bad, so I will say that, I'm still feeling good. Still dealing with my, I mean, intellectually, I know that this is an overcomable situation.
Mhm.
My physical body is still have her freaking out every so often.
Sure.
So I've
Sure.
been doing the PTSD kit. I've been doing
Right,
that
right,
daily
right,
for a couple of weeks.
right.
That seems to be helping.
Good, good. Yeah, let's have you do this for a while, and you see the doctor like later, like in the summertime or something, right?
First week of April.
Okay. Oh, so soon.
Yeah.
Okay. So
Yep.
yeah, maybe we'll get some feedback then.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay.
Excellent. Thank you.
You bet.
And go ahead, Lolly.
Hey, hey.
Hey, just a couple of follow-up things. If I were to do rosemary verbena and the pine on my wrists, you would do it what, in just different times of day, or what's the
What's the second one? The time?
white thyme? What am I talking about? Pine, white
Oh yeah,
pine, and the
just different
rosemary,
parts of the day. Yeah.
different parts of the day.
Yeah.
Okay, and
Like even
then
like 20 minutes or 30 minutes in between, you fine.
okay.
Sometimes I'll put it on the wrist here and then put it on the wrist, like, like over here. Like, I just
Oh,
see
that was
different spots. Yeah, it's fine.
okay. And
Yeah.
then with the pine, since you mentioned like doing a salt bath, would that be beneficial basically all over the body as like a body tonic, or adding it
Yeah.
like a massage
Yeah.
oil?
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Either way.
So, okay, so I can kind of alternate and do different things
Mhm.
with that.
Mhm.
Okay, thank you. And then going back to the clove, which yes, I've used on my teeth many times. It's definitely a go-to. I'm wondering if I were to use it in really a mouthwash or gargle or whatever, you would still take it internally for my
For the
thyroid?
thyroid, I would. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
If you're doing stuff for the teeth or something like that, I'd think,
It's different.
If you're
Okay.
doing for the gut or the thyroid, I would still take it internal. Yeah.
Okay. And then right now I actually have bay laurel in my mouthwash. Would you mix them together, the clove and the bay laurel, or no?
For oral hygiene?
Yeah.
Yeah, totally. You could totally do
Oh,
that. Yeah.
okay. Yeah. Okay. Then I can do that. Cool. Thank you.
Yeah.
And
I mean, that would
then
kill a lot of bacteria in your mouth.
Oh, good. I like that.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
By the way, do I need to take Bayloral internally? I took it internally for a long time and I kind of took a break.
I think you're okay with what we have in motion.
Okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
And then just a couple of quick ones. If I'm doing as far as process different patterns from processes and all the spiritual stuff, realization class, what do endocrine, urinary,
Yeah, you could do endocrine and you could do skin.
okay.
But for you, like your body holds stress more in that urinary tract area. And
Mm-hmm.
it's not even necessarily all your urinary tract, but it's like still like the muscles in and around the low back and everything.
Mm-hmm.
I would do that substantially. Because I find like, the urinary tract or the cardiovascular system, those two can trigger the body into a stress state easier than other systems. And so I would say for you, it's more the urinary tract.
Okay. So you'd rather so better doing like the urinary tract like every night as opposed to alternating in a way.
You might not need to do it every night, but I do it maybe every other night. You know,
Okay.
you know.
Sounds good. Anything else that would be beneficial from all the
I think you have a pretty big, like a full plate.
okay.
It's
Yeah,
like
and I
what I was
mean,
saying before. I don't want your breakfast to be
yeah,
vitamins and things with
yeah,
oils of seasoning in it.
yeah. But yeah, and I'm doing different classes like whatever is sitting on the table. I've been doing a lot of health rays, cleaning protective webs because it's also the kidneys. So yeah.
Yeah, I would go pretty hard on the power of realization class. I
Okay.
really hard on it. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I
Okay,
mean, because
cool.
like we're talking about how your body's like it's more balanced than it was, but it's just,
Mm-hmm.
it's prolonged periods of stress and things.
Yeah.
That's gonna calm down the different areas and help bring your body to balance much quicker. Yeah.
Okay. Sounds
Yeah.
good. And
Yeah.
then last question, a real quick one.
Mhm.
Thank you for another lovely blend, the tranquility.
Mhm.
So, which looks pretty amazing. Is that internally? Does that work as well? I wasn't 100%
You
sure.
could, but inhalation, topical,
Would be
however,
better.
like I think Samantha was saying, like many years ago, she was using it to resolve like a neck issue. Like, she would
Oh,
just put it on like ointment on the neck.
oh,
I mean, it's like all kinds of things you could use it for.
okay. And yeah,
Yeah,
and I like that it can help, potentially help with sleep as well, because I saw
yeah,
all the like,
yeah,
yeah.
yeah.
Okay, so internally you can, but really not going to give you much of a.
I mean, you're like if you were having a hard time hitting this parasympathetic state, I'd say, yeah, I'd go for it. But
Okay.
your issue now is more balancing out the other part of the
No,
nervous system.
no, I was
Yeah.
okay. No, actually, the question actually wasn't for me specifically, but generally about
Oh yeah.
the
No, yeah,
blend.
totally. Yeah, yeah,
Okay, so
yeah.
somebody that let's say has some issues with sleeping, with falling asleep, with like pain syndromes that are,
Yeah,
then yeah, then you would do that
yeah,
internally as well.
yeah, yeah.
Okay. Okay. Thank you.
Yeah. You're so welcome. And it smells delicious, by the way. Like I don't know if you've smelled it, but it smells delicious.
I'm excited. It's in the cart.
Yeah,
It's the
yeah.
that's for the order for tonight. Thank you.
You're so welcome.
And go ahead, Barbara.
Hey, Barbara.
Hey there. The past 3 mornings and leading up to that somewhat, what I call my sort of re-entry time from waking up
Mhm.
and all that intense energy in my head. It's
Mhm.
been particularly intense the last few mornings. And I don't know if some of that's from the class this weekend. It seems like a trend. And I'm just,
So like your head feels congested or you feel like expanded? Like what, give me an idea of what's happening.
I guess congested, not like a congested, sinuses, but just intense
Like
amount of
energy congested. Yeah.
energy congestion.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like a
Mm.
lot. Sometimes it's 20 minutes or more before I feel like I even want to try to get out of bed.
Let's have you start doing foot baths in the evening. Doesn't have to be every night,
Yeah,
but
I've been doing them some. What oil do you suggest? I've been doing
vetiver. Like
vetiver.
have you use vetiver? Yeah.
I was doing sage, but
Yeah. I mean, it's one of those things where like when you when you really expand in your sleep, you know, on one level it's good, but it's sometimes it's hard to shake it off and it's hard to get like back in your body sometimes. I have that issue sometimes too. And like I'd say in the morning, you could start inhaling the vetiver, but I
okay.
think if you did vetiver a little bit at night or, you know, whenever with the foot baths, it would clean up some of the congestion and help normalize your body getting back into, you know, the mind and body like connecting again, you know,
Okay.
instead of being, you know, because meditation is consciousness is expanding and leaving the body. And
Yeah.
like if you look at like some of the old like yogis and stuff, and they're talking, like they look like they're barely in their body. Like, you know, if you look at them, they're out there. And, you know, if all you had to do was sit on a mountain and meditate, that would be amazing. But, you know, you got to drive and go to work and, you know, got to get back in that body. And so, yeah, I would just use the vetiver to, you know, another one that could be helpful is valerian. You know, but that I would almost say take a drop or two internally or like a tincture or capsule or something.
At night or in the morning?
I would take it in at night. And the reason being that um, it's not quite grounding like the vetiver is, but it will be like a restorative. And like sometimes like when the body's like shifting and everything, you're helping to like restore proper homeostasis. Like it will just help kind of balance out the nervous system and things. And so I tend to use vetiver more, like for what you're describing. But if it's still like, oh, the vetiver is hitting it, but not, I still need a little something, add just a little tiny bit of valerian.
You said internally a little bit?
Yeah, probably internal. Yeah.
And
I
with
mean, you could probably rub some on your feet, but probably internal is the quickest.
any of the brainwave oils do anything or
Probably beta waves.
and
Yeah.
would that be at night or in the morning?
I would do it in the morning.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah,
Thanks very
that
much.
might actually be an interesting little experiment. Wake
I,
up and start doing the beta wave blend right off the bat.
I will try that.
Yeah.
And I just went through all the Vital Center oils and that felt really good on the
Oh,
tongue.
isn't it
And
always?
after,
That's one
I
of my,
haven't done it in a while, and after
yeah,
whacking my head a few days ago, it felt really good. So thank you very
yeah.
much.
That's a good one to just do from time to time. Yeah. I have this little kit that, like, you know, a lot of the different classes I'll make into this little kit. And you know, I'll forget about it. And I was going through my kits the other day and I found my Vital Center one. And I was like, that might be on the agenda sometime soon. Like it's been a while. Yeah, it's a good one.
And then we have some chat questions as
Sure.
well. What is in the intestinal blend?
Well, let's look.
And I'll look to see if it might.
Yeah, I remember it's like bay laurel, coriander, I think red thyme, but that's about as far as I get. Give me just a sec here. Yeah, tarragon, coriander, red thyme, rosemary, verbena, and bay laurel.
Is there any difference in using helichrysum scrub or applying the oil? Would it have the same effect or result?
Um, depends on what you're trying to do. If you're trying to treat like fascia or inflammation or a scar, I would probably apply the oil or an ointment, something of that nature. But the thing that's very good about the helichrysum salt scrub, it's very cleansing to all the layers of the skin, and it's very like opening to the health rays and helps the body to expel things off. You are still going to get some benefit from the helichrysum applying it topically, but with an ointment or putting on neat, you're putting it on there and it's staying. Where when you're doing the salt scrub, you leave it on for a couple of minutes, you wash it off. Some still got in, but you're not getting the same kind of dosage. So
Sorry, I missed it. Did you say put Scotch mint or white pine on the chest for respiratory system?
Scotch pine. Yeah, Sylvester pine, Scotch pine, or white pine.
And I just realized I don't think we have Scotch pine on the site.
Scotch pine, Sylvester pine, it's the same. It's just from different regions. So Sylvester pine's perfect. Yeah. I'm like a pine geek. I have so many pines that aren't on the thing. Like I probably have 7 or 8 different types of Sylvester pine, just from different regions, different years. Like I treat it like wine. This was last year's Sylvester pine from Provence, and this is, I'm just a little bit of a geek that way. But they all kind of do the same thing. But sometimes the sin profiles and some of the more artisanal blends are from a particular region. I like them, but they're not always cost effective for treating, normal everyday things. So, I buy little bottles of them, and instead of buying a kilo, I buy like maybe 4 ounces and just stash it away. So, but they're all kind of, and I think there's one just called pine, right? On the just pine oil, and that's also a different type of Sylvester pine. So,
I think we have another minute here. So, wondering what could be helpful for brain fatigue, especially with working on financial, pulling together info for taxes, etc. A lot of overwhelm and a physical exhaustion and fatigue that thwarts that ability to focus and concentrate.
so I mean, I would say that's also a bit of stress. So I'll hit the 3 top ones, maybe 4 top ones. First, I'd say basil. Basil is a mental and cognitive stimulant and is a very good remedy for stress. I would inhale it, but I would take 2 or 3 drops, 2 or 3 times a day when you're going through and doing that process. Rosemary verbenin would also be good. It increases circulation, kind of tones up the nervous system. Petitgrain, also very good for doing mental work, especially when there starts to be confusion or like feeling overwhelmed. Petitgrain can be quite good for that. And then I'd still throw in cinnamon. Cinnamon is still strengthening to the mind and gives the body strength and helps you to kind of push through. And then how we've been talking about white pine would be very good as a cognitive stimulant. So
And there's also grief on top of all of that.
yeah, the grief, I mean, marjoram could help. Ginger lily would be your best bet, but also the sadness and grief blend. Rose could work, things of that nature. But yeah, hey, taxes are hard. I get it, you know. So, okay, you guys. Well, we're gonna switch over to the Astara prayer blessing. Join us if you can. It's a little 15-minute meditation that we do. And if not, hopefully we see you tomorrow night. We did a free class on the weekend, so it's open to everybody. And we have our study group tomorrow. So join us if you can. And we have also a free class on the weekend. So join us there if you can. So take care.